How do we manage our injection sites? Which one of these, sets of pictures looks the most familiar to you? You have a clean sanitary area, you got it sealed, nothing has, exposure to, to what's in that content except, the hose. Or do some of those other pictures, after all, they're just birds. What difference does it make? Well, that picture down in the middle, kind of the yellow bucket with the lid, I have a friend who's fantastic producer, #1 in her complex, city water supply. But she has old school house so that their medicator bucket was out in the barn. Well, somebody talked her into using a new vitamin E product. And so she's running it, and somehow accidentally the lid got knocked off the bucket. She's calling me up. You got to get out here. I can't get water to my birds. There's just this gooey clog coming out. Nothing, So we get out there. We're trying to help her flush the lines, and we take a sample in a baggie, and there's these things swimming in it. And I was like, that looks like worms. Sure enough, her water lines had become filled with roundworms. Just by putting the perfect, food, the vitamin E, the lid getting knocked off, we got this dust in the air, it settles in the bucket, and away it went. So if you don't think having a nice, clean, sanitary injection site is important, remember that story. And how many times, we worry about the temperature of the barn, the litter quality. The turkey guys and the breeder guys, they'll sanitize that barn to where we could have picnics in there, and so will the broiler guys. And then we don't think about the water. So always, think about the water. If you have house brood, make sure it's definitely good for those babies. And if you, get ready to turn out, make sure you're flushing those back lines, getting that cleaned out, because that water sets stagnant for a few days. It's compromised. I encourage people, if they're trying to problem solve their water, take a total bacteria count. The health departments say do coliforms E. coli. Well, that's kind of like me looking for one person in the room and ignoring all the rest of the people. Let's do a total count. Let's just see how much things are going on in our lines. And if you're going to test, you want to look at the source, and then you want to look and see what the birds are drinking. And as you can see here, like for Farm D, they had a great water supply. They weren't taking care of it. And you start giving a new day-old chick 4.7 million colony-forming units of bacteria per milliliter. That's a lot for that little guy to process and to get his gut integrity over, particularly if you don't know what it is. So test that water, see if there's a challenge level there. But sometimes taking a drip sample is like, a rainy, snowy day and somebody's standing out in front of the building waiting to see who all comes out. Well, if the weather's not nice, maybe nobody's coming out. So you might interpret, well, there's no one in the building. So what we said is, let's go looking for what's in the building. Let's go swabbing in those lines. So we kind of developed a technique to just take the end drain hose off, stick that swab up underneath that standpipe, and figure out what all is living in there. And on our farm, where we thought we were doing everything good, you can see from the little numbers, the 4 and the 2, that when we took the drip samples out of the lines, there wasn't much in those water lines. It wasn't much coming out. So our water sanitation was helping us. But when we swabbed, we were able to find that there was a lot of stuff living in our lines. And before that, we were awfully cocky. We didn't think we needed to clean our lines because we ran chlorination. Kind of changed our attitude. And we not only started cleaning our barn lines, we cleaned the underground distribution lines. Helped us on our feed conversions. So line cleaning can make a big, big difference for you. Here's some results back for an operation where their bottom 10% growers were really struggling. And they said, let's look into this water. Let's see what's out in these water lines. And they had millions of colony-forming units of stuff like bacteria, yeast, mold. So, okay, we've got a lot living here. Let's put some effort into cleaning these systems out. Took these guys from the bottom to above average, sometimes even better than that on their settlements. So if you think line cleaning and line sanitation doesn't make a difference, it does. Regulators. You know, for years I've shown this picture, the one that's under the 2002. About that time, I was working with the turkey operation, new farm, city water, you know, did everything right, Bordetella. So, okay, they'd limp through that flock, get them out, start over, clean everything, Bordetella, next flock. So we started taking the regulators apart. There was the Bordetella in that regulator. Well, last week I had the opportunity to work with a company that's been struggling with some health challenges in a turkey operation. And, you know, they're doing pretty good, and they've been line cleaning and doing the whole 9 yards. And I said, well, is anybody taking a regulator apart? And they kind of looked at me, no, but they were game to do it. There, by the next day, the diagnostic vet came in and said, there's Bordetella in that line. And it was just, the culture was just covered. So, boy, was this an eye-opener for me. Even line cleaning, they've still got this disease challenge that was just hanging out in that regulator. So if you've got a problem challenge farm, it may not be just enough to clean the lines. You may need to go in and open some regulators up and change out those seals to just make sure you get rid of your problems. So it's kind of got me reeling. I hadn't had enough time to start thinking, all right, how do we outsmart this problem? But it continues. So we know water line cleaning is very important, but what does that mean? Well, when we look at these two pictures, you look at the one on, you know, on my right, your left, I guess, yep, we put in an acid. You know, it says on the package you can line clean, so that means it works, right? Okay, let's put it in the line. Well, then across the barn, we pumped in a 3%, you know, stabilized hydrogen peroxide solution, and we left them for 24 hours. Well, most of us, if we came back the next day and started flushing it out, if we saw that clear water coming out, we'd say, man, that product worked great. Just broke everything up and away it went. The real story is that acid just whistled past the wall. The biofilm closed the doors, sealed them up, and said, hey, you're not touching us. Go on out. It took a good product, the right concentration, leaving it long enough to start breaking the wall down and then scooping the stuff out of the water line. So kind of with that thought, we want to clean the lines, but we don't want to damage the lines. My friend Alfred, bless his soul, he was having some respiratory challenges, and he said, I'm going to fix these. I'm going to pump straight bleach in there. Alfred spent a lot of time changing out regulator seals. May have been what fixed him, is he got rid of all those regulator seals that were housing the bacteria, but he did a lot of damage. So we kind of got to walk the line between cleaning and damaging. The bleach left stuff behind. So did we leave just enough guys beat up for them to go, okay, I was tougher than this, now I'm going to make a new colony of tough stuff. Citric acid didn't slow it down. Citric acid is not a line cleaner. Can help you descale if your pH isn't too high and you can use it to get the pH down, but it's not a deslimer. The SID did the best job in the shortest amount of time, those 4 hours. Some folks are, you know, a little cautious about leaving it longer than that in their water systems. The 1% proxy clean, it didn't finish the job. It wasn't enough. It took the 3%, leaving it long enough to start making a difference. My challenge to you is there's a lot of good products out there. Take a little bit of time to figure out what works best for you. Swab your lines, take some samples, see what's actually working. Do not assume that line cleaning is effective for you. Measure it.